Boom, there's that going. Let me get PhD the Tony or some shit like that. No, don't want that again. Wrong button. This is what happens when you lose your glasses. All right. There we are. Hey, everybody. It's the Beardsmen minus JL. I think JL. There he is. Hi, JL. How you doing? How you doing?
I was sitting there like, where the fuck is he? I'm not seeing anybody. Because he's a ghost.
He's a ghost. He's a ghost.
I was really confused there for a minute.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Wow, I just got some really interesting information that I'm not going to share with you on the air, but just yeah.
Oh, thanks for fucking telling us that.
Well, the reason why I tell you is because if I seem distracted, is because it's extremely important.
Can you message it to me so that now I won't be thinking about it and being distracted?
Is
Tony
that,
will have to
yes.
manage the whole stream on his own.
Okay. Well, replace Irish Demon with Dr. Peel. I think that's a sentiment that we can all get behind.
I agree.
A theory that JL is having a coffee with Darth to patch things up. I think we've established that Darth is just a coward who won't engage with anybody, even remotely related.
He relies too much on his grift and not being called out.
So yes, but we don't have any sort of set topics, and it is something of a relief to me personally that there's no particularly grave political disaster or existential world threat that some orange-coloured nincompoop is inflicted on the world because he was bored one day.
Drunk tweeting.
I feel sort of it's a relief, yes. But I did want to ask you about your impressions of Ranty. Ranty did his first debate the other day on Conspiracy Cat's channel. Did either of you gentlemen manage to catch it?
I did not. I can't watch Ranty.
Okay, well, he was actually really, really good. He was very, very effective. He was up against Brian's Logic, who is a loudmouthed, ignorant buffoon, so not exactly worthy opposition. But he was really good. He was on point. He was determined, and he was very even-tempered. Full marks to Ranty. Like, I think, if he keeps that up, him and Conspiracy Cats could drive every other flat earth debunker out of business pretty goddamn quickly, I think. He was really on top of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys see Nathan Thompson on MC Toon's channel the other day?
Oh, my God. Well,
how funny was that?
That was just absurd. Like,
it
wow.
was beautiful, though, wasn't it? Like, he was in having a bath with some guy.
No, it wasn't beautiful. I am glad that MC Toon has the reflexes that he does to cut off that video stream, because I would have lost my lunch, I'm pretty sure.
Wait a minute. Did he try to do some peeling of his own banana again?
There would have been a potential for it, I would say. I think he's trying to get you remember people used to prawn bomb people's streams? I think that's what he tried to do with you guys. So he was in a bathtub with some guy and he was drinking beer or whatever, and then
he was smashed.
Oh, he was smashed. He was absolutely smashed. And MC Toon asked him, did he know what what was it again?
Electromagnetic wake.
Yeah.
An electromagnetic wake. Yeah.
So the argument is that there's some electromagnetic process due to the passage of the sun that causes hurricanes to rotate in different directions. Nathan claims that it's got nothing to do with Coriolis. He is, of course, wrong. If he were correct, then the boundary between clockwise and anti-clockwise cyclones would vary with the seasons as the sun moves north and south of the equator.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't. It stays on the equator at all points. So,
Wonder why that is.
Yes.
It's almost like the Earth is a globe. Almost.
Almost.
It's almost like everything that every scientist that's ever worked on it has said is correct. But what do I know? But the thing that I found glorious about it was the lengths he went to try to avoid answering the question.
Yes,
and at one
that's right.
point, MC Toon was completely quiet, didn't say a word, and he was like, "Can you please tell me what it is, how it works?" And he was like, "You just gonna keep interrupting me, bro?" And he's like, "I'm not interrupting you." He's like, "You're interrupting me, bro. I'm not gonna tell you, bro." He did it in the debate with that lady too, and he was like, "You know what? No, I'm not gonna answer that question. You go find out for yourself, bro." AKA, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dumb shit.
I actually was very proud of MC Toon because he is a generally nice person, but he just called out Nathan Thompson for the liar and grifter that he is, and I thoroughly applaud, because I think that they need to be called out more often. And I noticed that MC Toon is developing. He will have people on. We'll let them talk, and we'll try to educate them. But the people who turn out to be just liars and grifters, he'll call them out. And good for him. That's what needs to happen. We need more of that.
Yep. I agree 100%.
And Jessica G has entered the building. So did Irish Dinner eat his furniture as well, or is he in the hospital recovering from a sugar overdose?
Wow. Holy fuck, man. But don't hold back, Jess.
Doesn't come in light-handed, doesn't come in with the hello first. It's fucking, I'm coming in guns blazing.
Well, I think that's on us, because we have not actually, I was just thinking that we actually needed to greet the chat. Charlie Welsh, Fred Knotts, Thor Rasmussen, Monkey in the Works, Copper Wasp, of course, the invaluable Jessica G. I shall explain on Irish's behalf, since he's obviously too humble to do it himself. He feels like he might have caught the lager lurgy. He's been having aches and pains, despite the fact that Johnny and I advised him to go and get rest and look after himself, he insisted on coming on, because he kind of thought, he didn't want to be as much of a wuss bag as JL. I don't think anybody wants that on their resume.
JL is just tired from praying. I think I've just got a cold, because it's cold season too.
Yeah,
that is
I'm just playing it safe, and tomorrow I'm gonna mask up, head out and get a test. Mrs. Demon staying home just in case, because obviously if I've got it, she's got it. So,
at least that's what you want people to think.
Yeah.
We know you both sleep in separate rooms.
Of course.
He's in the garage. He's just got the difference between him and Daniel Pratt is that the water heater's down the other end behind the camera. But greetings also to It's a Me, Mario Rui, Peter Collins, Clive Wells, D. Elwood. What does the D stand for, do you think, in D. Elwood? Dick?
Dick Longwood.
Yeah.
Daryl M. Is it Demon Orb? Kevin and Paul.
Kevin.
So are you in any way related to Demon Orb?
Who, me?
Yes.
No, not at all. That just happened. When I started my channel first, Demon Orb sent me a really cool video, and that's where our relationship started.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Would you say Irish Dinner swallowed his pride and showed up anyway? Like we would be shocked if there was anything Irish wouldn't eat.
Well, I mean, I do know, aside from his eating habits, that he does drink the tears of Daniel Pratt. He does, he does, and they are delicious. I have to say,
he is my little puppet. He is my little puppet. I've been emailing Nathan Thompson a lot, because I've been winding his ass up nonstop. And it was only when I emailed him yesterday that he went on MC Toon's channel, and he emailed me back and he said something about, why are you so obsessed with me, bro? And I was like, hold on a sec. I appear in every one of his videos. He has me on his intro on every video.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I can make you do exactly what I want you to do every single day. And he just keeps taking the bait. He's like the world's stupidest fish. He just keeps taking the bait every time. He's like, oh, maybe it's different this time. Fucking idiot.
So what you remind?
Yeah, he's a big stupid goldfish.
You kind of, in this posture, you kind of remind me of if Jabba the Hutt had been rolled onto his back.
The funny thing is, I actually feel that way.
Oh my goodness!
You just need a little puppet.
Yep.
Jesus Christ!
You don't remember
what
the
I
little.
Need is I need a Princess Leia type character looking after me. That's what I need. And it's not Mrs. Dina. She fucked off ages ago.
That's because you didn't chain her down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's cut this line of questioning off
demonetized
before YouTube come down on us like a ton of brick. I got into trouble on Jessica G's gaming stream for telling some Jimmy Carr jokes.
Oh Jesus!
That man. I love that man's sense of humor.
Oh, he's amazing. We went to see him a few years ago. Oh God, it's 6 years ago. And it was supposed to be like an hour and 20-minute show, and people kept like shouting things from the audience because Irish crowds are always good fun. And he just went on and on and on, and he was destroying people. It was his comebacks are incredible. His comebacks are absolutely amazing. He's just
yes,
amazing.
And so I have been ruthlessly stealing his material for use in Jessica G's streams. And weirdly enough, none of them get picked up by Google. Google moderator doesn't step in and steal them all. So I think it's because he's a well-spoken individual.
I think
sometimes, yeah.
That's correct, Jessica G. Salacious Crumb. You know who Salacious Crumb is, yes, Irish Demon? Of course not, because you're not a real Star Wars fan. Who?
Nah.
Yeah.
He's Jabba's pet.
Oh, the little guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm really bad with names and stuff. I'm fucking terrible with that kind of stuff. Like, I realized that recently when Jen was asking me about different movies that we'd seen, and she's like, "Oh, remember that actor?" If you name any actor, and I pretty much guarantee I can't tell you what movie they're in. Or if you ask me a character, I cannot tell you who the actor is. I'm really bad with names. Really, really, really bad. Like, she was talking about, I can't remember who she brought up, some character the other day, and I couldn't name it, and she was like, "Are you serious?" It was some really famous actor, and I was like,
right.
I was like, nope.
Yes, J.L. Warren invited myself and the George Said and Crafty Keeler onto a game show for Week in Horror the other day. And spoiler alert, I got absolutely trounced by this crowd. Jesus Christ. I thought it was name an actor, and then you take turns naming films that actor had been in.
Right.
And I thought, I'll trump them all. I'll go with Donnie Yen, obscure Hong Kong martial artist. And holy shit. Nope. 5 people who'd seen all of his goddamn filmography. I got absolutely trounced. But that's the way it goes.
Yeah, there's 4 built-in, 4 or 5 easy ones I can think of with Donnie Yen on that. Of course, the IP Man series, and then you've got Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
And then, those. Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking I had Iron Monkey, Once Upon a Time in China 2, In the Line of Fire. I know Donnie, Shanghai Nights, I know Donnie Yen films.
So do they.
These guys were bringing out stuff, and you know who won that round? You know who knew the most Donnie Yen films?
If
Was
you, I
Crafty
was gonna
goddamn
say,
Keeler.
that was going to be my guess. Was Crafty.
I'm sorry for breaking the tension there with a joke, but with a laugh. I just read a Jimmy Carr joke. Oh my god, man.
Yeah.
Recently, my girlfriend asked me if I was having sex behind her back. I replied, yes. Who did you think it was? I realized I was dyslexic when I went to a toga party dressed as a goat.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But yes, there has been a sort of suggestion that you ate Salacious Crumb thinking it was some sort of donut flavor.
Like a chicken
Yeah.
wing.
Well, I mean, Salacious Crumb does sound like a donut flavor, though it kind of makes it sound like some
See,
rather dodgy flavor. Like
the problem is that where I come from, a crumb is somebody's. How can I say this without getting nuked from YouTube? Somebody's helmet.
Ah.
Yeah, we call that a crumb. So you definitely don't want helmet flavored donuts. I don't think that would do too well in the Krispy Kreme section.
That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny that you called it a Krispy Kreme.
Jesus Christ. Well,
to move on as rapidly as possible from that. And here we thought that the Johnny likes to present himself as the adult in the room who keeps things under control and the conversation on track. But that's what we have to live with.
Far from it.
Demon Orb says that he was an extra in a low-budget horror movie recently.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I might have that same IMDb credit here soon as well.
Oh, cool. Though, quite frankly, with a beard like yours, I don't think extra is.
I have an IMDb credit. Did you guys know that? I have an IMDb credit.
I did not know that. I think rather less of the institution now.
If you saw the movie, you would think differently. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
But I do have an IMDb credit. It's for a movie called Massive Swinging Dongs 2.
Right.
No, 3. Sorry, it was the 3rd episode.
Right. Hang on, Tony. Don't say anything. I gotta fix your.
Johnny, I'm just doing what you asked me to do.
All right, I appreciate it. There we go. Now PhD Tony does not look like a pixelated jumble of computer code.
So, and Clive Wells brings up the cinematic masterpiece that is apparently Level. Eric Dubé's latest magnificent octopus.
Magnificent piece of shit. It's just the same old garbage regurgitated. It's the exact same bullshit that he's put out over the course of the past 5 years or so. It's the same shit. There's nothing original. There's nothing new. There's nothing groundbreaking. All it is Eric Dubé stroking his tiny ego or his gigantic ego, thinking he's relevant, and he's not. It's just so stupid.
Yeah, he's not. Obviously it's been attacked multiple times. What I find funny is just the greater sapiens' ability to deal with these nonsense. Eric Dubé's 200 proofs that the Earth is not a spinning ball.
It's more like Eric Dubé's 55 proofs, because that's how many times regurgitated.
Yeah.
It's and most of them are just regurgitations, outright fabrications, and misrepresentations. That don't even make any attempt to represent logic. But it's Greater Sapien is actually really good at presenting the science very succinctly, and just finishing it off with something rather funny. So it makes me feel kind of inadequate, given that the best I can do is drive people to a coma. But
that has its place, though.
Concentrate on that.
No, it does have its place. Yes, and so Yes. I'm just there. It turns out that there are multiple things that we just can't talk about. I mean, I was a guest on FTFE's debate today against Mitchell, who is barking insane.
Oh,
It-
yeah, that guy needs help.
It
For sure.
seems to me that
Oh, I heard Brian's Logic is back on the scene.
Yeah, he was the guy Ranty was debating the other day.
Oh, I did hear that actually. Yeah, he's a special kind of stupid. He's the guy that said if all evidence and all scientists disagreed with him, then they must be wrong.
Yes, he's done that multiple times because he literally thinks that he is, he was telling everybody about how trigonometry works. No, you just you don't understand trigonometry. Take it from me.
I can't even spell trigonometry, can I? Nope. Can I hold on? TRIGONOMETRY?
Yeah, well done.
Fuck yes.
That's
That's what I'm talking about.
Well done.
I rely on my computer way too much to spell.
So-
I realized that the other day. I've been taking kind of more what would you say, more what's the word, more in-depth Irish classes, and spelling things out, it's just like trying to fucking, because I'm so used to my phone just doing it for me that it I was surprised how hard it was actually. But yeah.
On the subject of debaters, Skeptic Dank has joined us in the chat. He was on MC Tunes the other day, debating Witsit Gets It, who, as far as I can tell, only has two tricks, two debating techniques. One, science doesn't know everything, therefore science doesn't know anything. And two, I know more about science than you do, therefore you're wrong. Those are his only tricks, and that and the ability to talk for about 15 minutes straight without taking a breath. It's rather impressive.
that guy is on crack.
Yeah, that would be my guess too.
Anyway,
I'd be interested. Well, I don't have that much experience with people who have taken crack, but he definitely seems to be on some psychoactive of some sort.
Clive Wells, bro, he gish gallops.
Yeah,
You forgot two bros in that, Clive. Okay, bro. He's got to be bro, and then he gish gallops, bro. That's how that goes. That's if you're trying to do a true Austin doesn't gets it. That's how it goes.
Okay. Well, he's as far as I can, and he's just wrong. Like he, again,
The most important part about that is he's just wrong.
The whole thing about science doesn't know. There are bits that science doesn't understand. Like a lot of these flat earthers will go, look at dark matter. Therefore, your entire understanding of gravity is wrong. Well, hang on. There'll always be something we don't understand, and that we know we don't understand. That's why we still have scientists. If there wasn't anything we didn't understand, we wouldn't need scientists. But that doesn't, just because there are open questions in quantum mechanics doesn't allow you to say, oh, well, electricity doesn't exist, or doesn't, or doesn't operate in the way electrical engineers say it does. Now Irish has disappeared behind a veil of something.
Wait, Irish, what did you do? Did you do that smoker thing where I think I got pneumonia? Did you do that thing? Is that what you did?
No, I'm just fucking sitting here. I can see myself fine in the in our chat thing.
You look fine. You look okay.
Well, I think it was Disney attempting to assert control over their intellectual property. They own the rights to likenesses of Jabba the Hutt, right?
That's true.
That took me a minute there.
But
Johnny,
yeah.
I got your message, by the way.
Good.
Yeah. Don't feel, for those in the audience who feel like they might be being left out on a meaningful conversation. Yes, that is entirely the impression
You
that
are
Irish and Johnny
okay.
are going to enormous lengths to create for you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to create that. There's a lot of everybody knows that I'm working the whole Ilya Moon business. Everybody knows that. This is how to make no secrets about it. And there's a lot of stuff that's developing right now. So I'm sorry if I'm distracted. I'm just trying to get some things confirmed. Irish has some abilities to contact people that I don't. So I'm trying to work as many different angles as I can to make sure I give you a proper, balanced overall story.
More importantly, I think factually accurate as we can determine, because
Yes.
that's all that anybody is interested in, is getting the facts out.
Well, some of us honest YouTubers are. Other less honest YouTubers may not be interested in all of the facts, and only seem to be interested in flexing their ego.
Yes.
Well, and this is actually a point that I would like to address. I don't want to dwell on the details, but one of the issues that I have had with Red's rhetoric and his coterie is that they will assume to themselves a bunch of authority. They will take after people who have done misdeeds in their view, and they will hound them until the ends of the earth and persecute them until the 7th generation. They are fucking relentless in their self-righteousness. But as soon as it comes to actually assuming responsibility for their own actions, they're nowhere to be seen, and they'll try and tamp it down. And it's that, just don't be so quick to judge others and be more accountable for your own actions. That's how we build a healthy community. Everybody needs to be accountable. I need to be accountable. If I say something that's bullshit, I expect people, like Clive Wells. Clive Wells has picked me up on stuff that I've said that is completely wrong, or moderately wrong. Well, no, completely. It was just completely wrong. Anyway, and other people can pick me up as well. I often just prattle bullshit. It happens.
No way.
I've never heard you prattle bullshit. You may have been prattling some incorrect shit, but not bullshit.
Okay.
I don't think whenever you were been wrong about something, you were doing so because you were trying to genuinely mislead people.
I guess that, yeah. I try not to mislead people. I mean, unless I'm trying for comedic effect, obviously. But yeah,
right.
I try to be honest. But it's sort of, we need to be, we need to be accountable for our own actions. We need to, take responsibility. And if we mess up, even if it's not our fault, I mean, nobody is accusing Reds or his coterie of any crimes or anything like that. And I don't think that
there are people who are accusing Reds of crimes.
Okay, well then I am mistaken. Again, I apologize. I
see, but that wasn't you prattling bullshit. That was just not knowing all the other bullshit that's going on.
Would the people hurling such ill-informed accusations happen to start with the letter U by any chance? Okay, well then I think we can ignore that.
I'll blink once for no, twice for yes. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. So so I don't think that I have a problem with with the way certain portions of the community, well, the way Red's Rhetoric and friends comport themselves, but I don't have broader criminal or ethical concerns about them.
Same.
Let me just put it that way.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I think and again, I haven't seen any evidence one way or the next, so I have to err on the side of caution, just like everybody else, because we have this whole thing in the States called innocent until proven guilty. And then if I go around saying, "Hey, Red Rhetoric is a scam artist," and it comes out that he isn't, and I have irreparably damaged his reputation, then I could be held liable for that. So that being said, I have not seen any evidence to suggest that Red's Rhetoric is on the take.
One thing that people get wrong sometimes with regard to libel, and it's very nuanced, and the case law is really tricky on it. So one case that's going on at the moment in, I guess, popular culture that's dealing with the whole libel situation is, it'll just take me a minute to remember the name of the fucking hell, that guy that does dossiers on CNN and all that kind of shit.
That could be just about anybody.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Actually, I remembered Project Veritas.
Okay.
He does all this undercover stuff, whatever. So,
that guy.
James something. He's got this case going on with I think it's New York. Is it the New York Times or New York Post? But the problem with libel is, so I could say, "Oh, Johnny O's an absolute dick," and that could affect your business, and then you can sue me for libel. But in order for you to be successfully sued for libel, the person has to prove, or slander, the person has to prove intent. So they have to prove that,
or damages.
No, not damages. Damages only come into consideration when you can absolutely prove that it was said with the intent to harm and with foreknowledge that it was untrue and that it would harm you. That's why it's such a tricky law.
The truth or otherwise varies actually a little bit from jurisdiction to jurisdiction.
Absolutely.
The key element from a legal standpoint is malice.
Malice, exactly.
It has to be a malicious act.
Absolutely.
It has to be something that is also potentially believable. For instance, everybody like the whole the Larry Flint versus Jerry Falwell, right? When that what was it, that alcohol ad that he had, where he accused Jerry Falwell of having sex with a goat and his sister, and the defense attorneys in that whole thing got Falwell to admit that nobody in their right mind would believe those sorts of things about him. Therefore, how can that be? Then it's not libel or slander.
Yeah. So that's and that is coming up in the current in current political terms, because what's her face, the eccentric, shall we say, lawyer who was running around accusing Hugo Chavez of posthumously stealing the most recent U.S. election, is being sued, and one of her defenses is, well, no reasonable person would believe me. Well, I don't think that's actually true, but it does come up that the reason, and I think Tucker Carlson has also gotten off libel laws because the judge ruled that no reasonable person would assume that what he was saying was factual. Yeah.
Well, where I do agree with Irish that it's very tricky. I want to make sure that I'm not put in a position where I have to defend any of it, because I can't afford high-powered attorneys to, get real nitty-gritty with interpretation of law.
Yeah, and the there is a um, I just one can have suspicions about somebody's character without knowing the facts of the case, and one can say, oh well, this person seems to me to be dodgy or whatever. Seems to me to be dishonest, and I wouldn't trust them to organize a fundraiser, etc., etc. And I would not categorize Reds as being in that category. He just seems to me to have not been very diligent, if I can put it that way, about guaranteeing that the monies were ending up where they were supposed to. It seems to me that if you are raking in thousands of dollars, which you may believe are in a good cause, that you have a duty of care to your followers and to your donors to make sure that it is going. And sort of, I feel like there was a culture established where people could come in and say, "Oh, I need some money," and everybody would all of a sudden have a quick whip round of the community, which is just basically unfair. I mean, there are a lot of people in the community who probably can feel guilt tripped into donating money. And they may not be in a position, they may be in a worse financial position than the person that they're donating to. It just seems like, we need to be protecting people a lot better than we're doing at the moment. And I mean, I'm speaking as a community because I was actually very impressed with the level of professionalism. I was impressed and relieved by the level of professionalism that Johnny and JL brought to sort of handle. JL's got this accredited charity that he wanted a fundraiser for, and Johnny was very scrupulous about the way he handled it.
That's the way to do it. Like, the thing is, these kind of blasé approaches to running a fundraiser, that's okay to some extent. So let's imagine somebody in the community who's somebody who needs a bit of help. Let's say their dog gets sick and they can't afford a bill, and it's like a few $100. The dog needs a tooth removed, something like that. I'm sure we could all go, hey guys, if anybody wants to help out, here's a PayPal link, no pressure, and we can raise the few $100, and that's all good, and that's fine. But when you're talking 10 grand, man, it needs to be above board. Like, it's going to call into question any future events and fundraisers that any of us have. Now, that's why I appreciate having Johnny and JL especially so much, because I know those guys can handle that way better than I can. So, for example, my plan. Do you want
to turn on your camera?
No, I have adopted my natural form, and so for anybody who wants to see that, you're going to have to go to the Irish Demon. What's that thing called? OnlyFans.
OnlyFans,
yeah. No, I've gone into another position because I wasn't breathing very well in the position I was in, and I'm not very attractive in this position. I'll leave that up to your imagination.
That leaves an inference that you were very attractive in the other position, which leads in turn to the question of what you consider to be very attractive.
Here's the thing. I never said I was attractive in the other position. I just stated that I am now less attractive in this position.
You said you are not very attractive in this position. That is true. What you said.
That is true. I'm attractive in most positions, to be fair. But so, one of my concerns is I have a future fundraiser planned for myself to get a penis reduction, much needed. And I'm worried that's now going to be called into question.
Yeah, well,
I just wanted to be brought back to human levels.
Certainly, I feel it would benefit the community more generally if your dick were not so conspicuous
Massive.
on your shoulders.
Exactly. I'm in
It would-
equine territory here.
so yeah,
He's not listening
it's
to you,
it,
PhD Tony. He's not listening.
no,
Not at
he's
all.
not.
He has no idea what
No,
you're
not
saying.
at all. I'm kind of in
Um,
this thing now where I'm picturing myself with a ginormous penis. So
Because you've never
I'm
seen
kind
that
of stuck
before.
on that.
So while you
Take that back.
while you
Congratulate myself.
shake the bishop's hand, so to speak, with that particular image, John, just mute your microphone. Johnny and I will go on with the show.
That's where the show gets started.
That's where it gets good.
Yeah, but I think that as a community, we need to, we just need standards, and we just need to, look out for other people, and we also, when you're talking about a few $1,000s, it's actually not a rude question to ask. Can we see some verification of all of this?
Yeah, or we're gonna set this up as some sort of direct payment to the hospital, or you're not gonna have control over the funds. The funds will go to a specific place that'll go to whatever, something.
Yeah, my youngest brother makes it a habit to never give anybody cash, like people panhandling on the street, or begging or whatever, because his policy is it's much more effective to give the money to a charity that you is credible and will do something useful. Because if you give the money to a random person on the street, they may have some drug habit that they're trying to support, be it alcohol, tobacco, something more illicit, rather than the food and shelter that they may desperately need. So, I mean, if you want to make sure that the money is going to go to what you want it to go to, just handing it over to the person who is asking you for it is not the best place to do it,
Right.
I think.
Right.
Thor Rasmussen is ditching us to go watch a Formula One race.
At least it's a real.
Oh,
at least it's a
no,
real race.
no,
though. At least it's a real race.
No.
He could have said NASCAR race. That would have been worse.
He could have gone NASCAR racing, and that would have been worse. But only just, just, these people drive round and around in really loud cars, and it's great. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, right? Formula One, right? I used to watch a lot of F1 back in the day. I used to love it. And as the years went by, it got more and more about using, these kind of team tactics and special electronic equipment to make the car go faster in certain turns and all this kind of shit. And it actually just took a lot away from it. So now when I watch car racing, I usually watch rallies or touring car racing. That's fucking awesome. That gets brutal.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to banger racing when I go back to Ireland.
Okay.
A bit of banger racing, so
rally driving I can accept is actually a test of skill.
Would you say that rally driving, among most types of car racing, rally driving is the most arse puckering motorsport that you can do?
Yeah, well, I would certainly
it's so good though.
It is. It's a very dramatic sport.
There's one thing that I would say is more terrifying than that though, and that is if you ever watch the Isle of Man TT motorcycle racing. That is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
that's the one where they go up the mountain that has like the super narrow road and shit, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
and they go like 220 miles an hour flat out through a village, and it's just wild. But it's incredible.
In order to pretend that the Isle of Man is worth visiting. Okay, so
fact he makes a good point. He says, let's face it, people go to the NASCAR for the crashes, which is absolutely true. So this is the best way to watch a NASCAR race. Okay, you ready for this?
They're epic.
Listen, you watch a NASCAR race on the ESPN highlights show because you catch the first 10 laps, the last 10 laps, and all the crashes in between. That's all you get. So instead of it being a 5-hour bullshit parade of just left turns It's a digestible 5
Yeah.
minutes.
I'm going with Jessica G on this, and I'm going to extend it to not only motor racing. I actually find horse racing to be a singularly unedifying. I have gone there. Well,
And on
wait,
Derby
hold
weekend
on.
of all
actually
times to say that, it's Derby weekend.
We might be able to agree here on one thing, though. Are you talking about flat racing where they don't
Yes.
go over jumps? Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
fucking soul destroyingly
Okay.
boring. Any Irish people, any Irish person that likes flat racing may as well be English. Flat racing is boring. I'm going to take you guys to what's called a point-to-point when we come to Ireland. And
right.
so you've heard the term steeplechase, I'm sure.
Yep.
So
Yes,
that's a horse race where there's big jumps.
That's what the
point to point means there's no fixed course, right?
Yeah, it used to be that way, but nowadays they do have a fixed course. But basically, it's horse racing over hedges and through fields. They're on every Sunday. But the steeplechase, that term actually comes from a race that was done near where I grew up a few hundred years ago, and that name has stuck with the sport. And we still go to that race every year. Well, obviously not since I moved to Australia, because that town is not in Australia. So
okay. And
I'm going to take to point. It's amazing, and you stand right next to the fences as the horse stream over. It's incredible.
A huge greeting to Crafty Keeler and her left eyebrow, which I think is called Franklin. That's the rumor. That's what I'm told. I'm reliably informed that she has an eyebrow called Franklin.
I feel like you have scooped me once again, PhD Tony.
Well, you need to turn up to Crafty Keeler's live streams then, because
that's true.
You will get valuable information on the names of her particular eyebrows.
All three of them.
Skeptic Dank loves. It's better than only having one. Skeptic Dank says that he has racing dogs. Racing dogs. There's been a lot of really dire news stories in Australia about greyhound racing, and if it were a more ethically run sport, I mean, dachshund racing, I think, is about the limit of where it gets ethical. Beyond that, it starts to get people start taking it a bit too seriously.
It is. It's a brutal industry, the greyhound racing industry.
It's kind of bad. It's terrible.
They banned it in Ireland for about 2 years because it was getting to the point where it was becoming so commercial that dogs, if they didn't win in their first 2 or 3 races, were just being put down. And the government said, right, no, we're not fucking having that. So they banned greyhound racing outright. And then eventually the rules all changed, and now you have to basically, once you bring on a greyhound, you have to pay for the rest of that greyhound's life to have a good life, basically, which is really great. But greyhounds love to run. So people that say that the racing in and of itself is harmful, I think don't understand how greyhounds work. But I understand the industry is atrocious, especially here. It's really bad.
Yeah. I am told that actually it's Crafty's right eyebrow that is called Franklin.
You lied to us, Tony.
I did.
I feel like the obvious next question is, what's the other one called?
I would have thought that it would be called Benjamin, but
Roosevelt. But yours makes more sense because it's two first names.
Yeah, so I mean, I can see how that might work, but these are mysteries best left to greater minds than mine to ponder.
So basically,
given that I am an uncultured, sleepy-faced fuck, apparently.
Shit.
that's the rumor from the chat. But anyway,
Jessica.
that would be Jessica G. Yes. obviously I take everything Jessica G says as absolutely 100% true. Yeah.
That's probably a safe thing to do.
I don't think it's at all safe. And I would advise nobody listening at home to do that. But yeah. Unibrow lives matter. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, Clive Wells. I can't answer that question. Again. Okay. Tusk gave Keela her first super chat, and he felt that gave him the right to name an eyebrow.
Wait, so
okay.
Crafty, you're monetized now, yes?
That's awesome news.
So, but I mean, that makes it sound like you're publicly prostituting your eyebrows, and I'm wondering, just where the ethical limit of that is, right?
How much nature knows?
Yeah, I mean, you could have a bidding war, right? You could. I think that this opens up an entire ethical morass.
The eyebrow.
I beg your pardon?
Is he legally entitled to a piece of the eyebrow, I wonder?
I don't think so. I think he's just claiming naming rights. But, it's just... so Crafty Keeler is apparently monetized, which, now you're dead to me, Keeler.
Oh.
I'm still not monetized. I'm not monetizable. I can't apply. So
you just need the hours. That's all.
Yes, I just need the hours.
I think it's because your videos are actually a controlled substance because it makes people fall asleep at the wheel.
It does. It does. I submitted a super chat. I've submitted multiple super chats to MC Toon in the past couple of weeks, and he has dozed off during 2 of them, or at least seemed to. So
I could say that surprised me.
All right.
I was struggling to stay awake as you were telling me that. I'm just saying.
Well, I guess I can forgive Crafty, I guess. But again, I'm still not monetized, so I'm the last. I'm the last out of Crafty, Huge Ass, and I. Pretty much started our channels on the same day. I actually had a head start on Hugh and Keela, but now I'm just I'm falling behind.
So how many hours do you need? How many more hours do you need?
I think I need about 700 hours. So I'm on 3,300. Yeah, it's not much at all. It's just
do a 10-hour live stream of you twerking. Guaranteed views.
That's right. Total watch time of 37 minutes with 140 hours because people just turn that boring shit off or get counted. Yes. Oh, well, the good news is that people tend to fall asleep and let it run through to the end. So, but they don't tend to come back.
Yeah. You don't get that return.
Chris Durham claims that he lives next to a dragon sanctuary. I'm going to ask citation needed.
I think I'm going to ask whatever he's thinking because I want some.
Well, apparently Chris Durham is a musician who was active during the 60s and. And he may well remember the television series H.R. Puffin stuff.
Oh, I was going to say because he was a musician back then that he might know his way around a mushroom.
He could know his way around a mushroom. That
sounded really bad.
That
could know his way around a mushroom.
Terrible.
Oh, they made magic mushrooms legal in Ireland. You just can't dry them. for
Okay.
storage, but you can eat them fresh, which is awesome. They didn't say anything about freezing them, so that's going to be fucking really fun.
Irish, check your Discord.
We
Oh,
have
shit.
a lot of people actually die in Australia.
Sorry.
We have a lot of people die in Australia because they. Are you going to share that with me as well, or not?
I will. I will share.
Okay.
Yes, Tony, I will share
Okay.
this with you as soon as we're done with the show.
Okay,
Tony,
but
I know what you're about to say, and I just watched a documentary about it yesterday.
okay,
This is
so
what I think.
well, a lot of people mistake the appearance of
Mhm.
mushrooms in Australia for mushrooms in their home countries. And it turns out that while they look very similar, the ones in Australia, of course, are lethal because,
Yep.
Why wouldn't they be? And so people go out picking mushrooms that they think they recognize from their home country, and it kills them.
Yep. There's see, everything in Australia wants to kill you. Like even the little bandicoot. He wants to kill you. He just can't. He's too small. But
Yeah.
there was an absolute nightmare situation for the Western Australian police. There's these two mushrooms that grow actually around this time of the year in the southwest of Australia. One of the most beautiful places on earth, I might add. And there's two very similar mushrooms that have, is it psilocybin, I think is the active drug.
Yep.
And they both have psilocybin. They both look almost identical. However, one of them has another psychoactive element in it that causes people to go absolutely crazy for about 12 hours. And there's a little town in the area where the police are on constant lookout at this time of year. They have roadblocks stopping people from going picking mushrooms because people were ending up walking through the bush for days, like with bloody feet, because they were just so out of it. So yeah, if you are collecting those, don't eat them raw, dry them, and if they turn blue, then they're good to go. If they don't, then they're not.
Yeah.
We are not engaging in telling people how to use substances that have not been deemed legal in all countries, are we?
Well,
no,
certainly not. In fact, what we're saying is be extremely cautious about your consumption of vegetable material.
That's fair.
That's all we're saying. Though I guess are mushrooms vegetables? So
they are not vegetables.
Okay, so this
They're
is
clearly fruit.
All right, they are not fruit. Give it up. So here's a question for the chat, and it's of no significance to anybody except my nerd friends and I. Do people consider that rice or other cereal crops are vegetables?
I would consider them like a starch, but I don't know. So I guess some people consider some starches vegetables.
I always consider them just kind of separate, to vegetables. Like I see like a carrot or like a cucumber. Oh, I guess cucumber is a fruit, isn't it? But you know what I mean? Your standard vegetables, and then cereals is something because they're grasses, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, there's still vegetable matter, but I wouldn't consider it a vegetable personally.
Okay, so all right, there's a so yes, there's a lot of we do owe Skeptic Dank the opportunity to clarify that his dogs do American Sighthound Help Association coursing events, not racing events in the traditional sense of racing greyhounds. So there you are.
Oh, coursing is fantastic. It's really exciting.
Well, so is. Have you ever watched sheepdog trials? Because that is gripping television.
It's fantastic. Have you got do you guys have a royal show over there?
In Eastern Australia, sure, we have the Royal Easter Show. Thank you very much.
No, but I mean, like in your city, or?
Yes, we do. We have have an Easter show. Yeah.
We have they do the sheep trials or the whatever it's called, the sheepdog trials at the Royal Show. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I have to answer a question in the side chat. So Daryl M says, "Do people agree that flat earthers are vegetables?" No, because I rather enjoy vegetables.
Well, that's a good distinction. But flat earthers can turn out to be not flat earthers if you if you dry them out long enough and apply
Do you think Nathan Thompson would ever change?
Fuck no.
No.
It's a grift. He's not a flat earther. I don't think he believes the Earth is flat at all.
I think he's just quite confused mentally.
Yeah,
he's a very conflicted individual, with actually a lot of different psychological conditions, in my opinion.
yeah, agreed. I'll be right back. Just give me 2 seconds. I just need to fill Mrs. Demon in on something.
I mean, he has toxic body image issues. He has a weird sexual identity, and he has a very excellent memory, but he kind of thinks that is a substitute for an analytical ability, and it just isn't. So
his problem, he is his own worst enemy. His ego is his problem. If he didn't have to have this, didn't have this egotistical need to be correct and the baddest and the biggest about everything, I think he was bullied. I'm willing to bet if we went to his school, his whole entire school experience, he was bullied quite a bit. I'm willing to bet. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm really not trying to be funny here.
No. No, I think you're right, and I think that he's trying to establish his own importance. I actually think that in contrast to Irish, he is very sincere. If he weren't sincere, he wouldn't be harassing children with the dedication that he is. Jessica is trying to stop us, to keep the conversation on Franklin and his rights. Let's just say free Franklin. Franklin needs to be saved, apparently from an array of tortures and disfigurements at the hands of various implements that are controlled by international agencies, razors, scissors, and well, I think tweezers. I think appropriately sharp tweezers. You're allowed to take those on an aircraft. I don't think so, for precisely the reason that they can be.
I can't remember who the comedian was that said, "If you can take an airplane with a set of tweezers, you fucking deserve it." I thought it was brilliant. Can you remember who that was, Jim? Who was that comedian that said, "If you can take it"? Oh no, it was a nail clippers. He said, "If you can take over an airplane with a nail clippers, you fucking deserve it." It was really funny though.
But yeah, it's yes, I do feel that the fact he does remind us that this is apropos of nothing, that Matt Powell, who, for those who don't know, is a vaguely humanoid piece of excrement in a skin sack, has an inflatable banana in his backyard called Dr. Peel.
Yes. I emailed Simon Dan and told him that the next iteration has got to be people doing their versions of Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood.
Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think for those who may have missed it, Matt Powell is gaining notoriety as a
piece of shit.
Somebody who uses their religion as a license to be a fucking dickhead.
Yep.
There's a surprise.
And not every religious person does, but
oh no, for sure.
But he is certainly one of the ones who really is absolutely reprehensible, and just completely completely devoid of any moral compass whatsoever. And I mean, he's up against some stiff competition because, Kent Hovind and Standing for Truth are both barefaced liars and con men.
Yes.
But Matt Powell,
and we can say that about Kent Hovind because he was convicted of such a con. So there you are.
Yeah.
What is it with people just like knowing that people are con men? All right, we know Kent Hovind is a con man. We know Nathan Thompson is a con man. The evidence is there. The writing's on the wall. The receipts are in, and people still go, "Hey, let me give this guy some money." So what the fuck is wrong with you, man? What more do you need, man?
So I want to take issue with that, Irish, because I know, yes, Nathan Thompson is I'm going to say thief.
Yeah. True.
But I think that he is sincere in his dedication to Flat Earth, because if he weren't, he wouldn't be going after children so much.
That's a good point, because he has nothing to gain by doing that.
Yeah, because children don't have disposable income. So
exactly.
It's more of a. So he clearly sees it as an ideological battle, but that doesn't stop him from being a thief.
I feel like if he was going for just the grift, just to make money, he'd go for the religious thing more so, the preaching or whatever. It's just an easier grift.
He might well.
Yeah.
I don't know. He does seem to work that into every one of his conversations.
Well,
the whole "Do you read your Bible, bro?"
Yeah, that's true. Copperwas is asking, is Matt Powell genuine? I do not know. He certainly, if he isn't genuine, he's got balls of absolute steel, because he's prepared to be an absolute slime bag in public. His entire argument about the theory of evolution caused the Columbine school shooting.
That shit pissed me off.
That was disgusting.
Quite frankly, he deserves to be kicked in the nuts by everybody who has ever had anyone close to them die. Yeah. For whatever cause. I don't care if they were shot or not. And certainly by people whose relatives were shot. But, he is taking a tragedy and he is
exploiting the fuck out of it.
He is exploiting the fuck out of it in a completely.
That is a horrific conspiracy to push. I mean, I know there's a lot of conspiracies around that whole event anyway, but that's bad. That one is.
Yeah, that one's particularly bad. I mean,
it is.
And I've ended up in a discussion. I went to Seek Truth, Speak Truth's channel for his birthday stream. And if I don't think that there's anybody in the channel who isn't already subscribed to Seek Truth, Speak Truth, but if there is, please do. He's a great guy.
He is.
And deserves subscriptions. Just a thoroughly decent individual, which I think we're finding out is actually in short supply nowadays. But he invited me on to talk to this psychologist who was just a deranged Christian, like absolutely deranged. Like he blamed, he was going on like, well, religion has declined in the last 2 centuries and look at the death count. It's just astronomical. The death count has declined because we've got more efficient engines of killing people, right? I mean... and that's got nothing to do with religion. You can bet your asses if the Crusaders back in the First Crusade, or indeed any of the Crusades, had access to Panzer tanks, the death toll would have been absolutely fucking catastrophic. But they didn't, so it wasn't, and they didn't have nuclear weapons either. But you can bet your bottom dollar that as soon as some religious nutbar gets their hands on a nuke, various places are going to vanish in clouds of toxic dust. Because they are willing to kill. And I mean, if you look at it objectively, from a religious perspective, if you kill somebody, how can it be a bad thing? Because if they're a good person, they're just going to paradise. They're going to their eternal reward.
Right.
If they're a bad person, they're going to hell, and you're punishing them anyway. So there's no loss. If you believe in an afterlife, if you believe in a just deity, I mean, sure, the Bible says do not murder, but, killing people from a Christian perspective is zero loss. It's no wonder that so many Christians think that they're justified in killing people, or Muslims for that matter,
or any religious fanatic, any religious nut
any
job.
religious. Yes, exactly. In fact, it's atheists who believe that there is no afterlife, who understand that you need to be extremely cautious about taking somebody's life, because there's no fucking do-over. There's no happily ever after. This is it. It's always annoyed me that that the religiously inclined go to that argument, like, well, you can't have any morality because you don't believe in a religion. Well, actually,
we've seen all of the morality of organized religion on display for so long, haven't we?
Yes, we have, and actually, we believe in right and wrong because it's right and wrong, not because we're being promised some happily ever after, not because of some bribe or threat of punishment. We just do it because we believe it's the right way to behave. Yeah, it's a good question, Jessica G. Neil Gaiman had a very interesting take on whether or not the devil was actually evil. Because he was doing God's will in Neil Gaiman's Sandman comics. And if anybody hasn't read the Sandman comics, I don't know if you guys have or not, but you should do it.
I find them.
So any comic book store will have them. You may be yes, that's a thing.
We still have comic shops over here. There's lots of them actually. They're pretty cool.
Jesus Christ, Demon! How do you?
It's news to me. No, I've heard of it, but I thought it was just a fake thing from those kind of like nerdy Virgin TV shows. I didn't know they actually existed. I thought it was just like from Virgin and stuff, but that's
damn
okay.
Country bumpkin.
Yeah.
Hey, look, where I grew up, there was one post office and 3 pubs in a village the length of a basketball player lying down, basically. Not a very big village, 3 pubs and 1 post office. One thing we certainly didn't have was comic books, or fucking any books for that matter.
So there's a famous American author called James Cable. I always pronounce his name as Cabell because it's Cabell.
I know he's a wiry fucker.
Crack Tequila says Clark City has 15 large comic shops.
What? Get the fuck out of here. Hold on, Jen, did you notice Cork City has 15 comic shops? Oh, yeah, there's that place in Paul Street. What's that one called? What's that one on Paul Street called?
It's closed now, but
What?
it's called...
That was a class shop, man.
Does anybody notice how extra Irish
Other
gets?
realms.
How extra Irish Demon gets when he gets excited?
Just you wait till I go home. Like, you guys don't understand. I have to really concentrate. I have to really concentrate on how I talk. Like, my accent that you hear in my videos and stuff isn't really my accent because I have to concentrate on what I say since I came to Australia. But Jen's calling out Crafty here, saying there's not 15 comic shops in Cork.
thing.
Hold on now. Crafty Keel is probably including like Eason's, which is just a bookshop that has comics.
No, according to Google, there's Comic Vault and Other Realms.
Comic Vault and Other Realms. Yeah, I remember Other Realms. That was a good shop, that, man. It's good crack. Like, I never got a comic in there. But they did, like, Warhammer stuff, too. It was a pretty good spot, actually.
So I'm going to
And
leave
bombs.
the intricacies of Irish comic book consumerism, which I'm sure, and I do apologize to the chat for moving so rapidly past this doubtlessly fascinating dialogue on
The Irish comic book scene.
geography of Irish comic book stores. But yeah,
It's a fucking good shop, though.
so James Cabell, James Cable, sorry, you're not allowed to pronounce it Cabell, wrote a book called Jürgen, and in the book, Jürgen is wandering along the road, and the local priest stubs his toe on a rock, and is very unhappy about it, and starts railing and swearing and cursing Satan for putting the rock in the road. And Jürgen says, "Well, let's not be so hasty about this. I mean, Satan is just doing what God asked him to, right? He's got a job. That's his job. I mean, if he didn't do his job, God would be kind of screwed, wouldn't he? So, you need to take it easy on this Satan guy. He's just a man doing a job." And the priest seems a bit unimpressed about it. But then this dark-skinned stranger shows up and, gives Jürgen a series of gifts. And the story goes on from there. But, it is an interesting theological point. Is Satan necessarily a bad guy? As has been pointed out in the chat, God kills a lot of people. Satan doesn't kill any.
Satan's pretty cool.
Oh, I don't know. It could be said that he is he's a leader of the Helter Skelter. So whereas he may not actually, do the stabbings, he sure is influencing them.
I think that's all part of God's plan. God moves in mysterious ways, etc., etc.
I still don't understand why he has to move in mysterious ways. Why not just be upfront about it?
No
you know what
shit.
I mean? Like
that right there is a grift in itself, isn't it? Right? The whole, I work mysteriously.
Like, their house burnt down. God moves in mysterious ways. Yeah. No, how about he's just a dick?
How about he just rebuilds? How about instead of,
maniac?
Look, here's the thing. If God wants me to have a new house, why don't you just give me the fucking new house?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Why do I gotta burn my old one first and live homeless for 6 months?
Because reasons.
Minimum, while I wait for the insurance to get their heads out of their asses to decide whether or not they're going to cover this.
And I want to I'm going to derail this conversation. So
Again?
Put a pin in it. We're going to, I need to pick a fight with Steaming Cup of Reason, who just accused me.
I knew it was coming. I wasn't going to say anything. I wanted to see how long it took.
Of being a geographer. And I blame Irish Demon.
That is my fault.
That is your fault. No, I'm not a geographer. God
he's not a geographer. He's a geography teacher.
Oh,
get it right.
Yeah. Oh,
okay,
man.
so we're back to how much Irish people suck. Let's.
Whoa,
Crafty Keel, are you going to take that from PhD geography?
I wouldn't be saying that in a pub in the west of Ireland. That's all I'm saying. You ever see a man fly before? There'd be some Guinness World Records broken that day, I can tell you that. Oh, fucking hell.
Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. Have you seen actually the television adaptation of Good Omens, which was a story they wrote together? Neil Gaiman was the guy who wrote the Sandman thing. In the Sandman story, Lucifer just decides, to hell with it. I'm going to quit. What are you all going to do about it? I'm done with this. It doesn't, I don't think that this is particularly important or productive. I'm out of here. And it sort of spawned a television show. The television show Lucifer is kind of based on that concept. But it's but Good Omens. If you haven't seen the Good Omens television show, which has David Tennant, who is such an amazing actor, he is really, really good in it. So there you go. Clivewell says not as much fun as the book, but quite good. Okay, well there you go.
Is David Tennant the guy that was in Doctor Who?
Yes, that's right. He was the
I know that guy.
Yeah,
Scottish guy, right?
I think he is. Yes, he's from Glasgow. Yeah. Yes,
that's Glasgow for all you Americans out there.
Glasgow.
Glasgow.
Yeah.
Fucking Glasgow.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
It's Glasgow, you fanny.
He's
Yep. It's like saying all Irish people eat fucking leprechaun stew. Okay, don't be a jerk.
We do.
Oh shit.
Of course we fucking do.
Well, Jessica G has invited me to again petition everybody to support the freedom of Franklin the Eyebrow, who is in imminent danger at any second of random and unprovoked attacks with tweezers, razors, and scissors. Should this sort of treatment be tolerated in a civilized society? I ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. But I'm also being invited to tell us how amazing Lord of the Rings is. It is amazing that such a steaming pile of shit has attracted the reverence and respect that it by no means deserves.
I agree. I don't need 40 pages telling me about the fucking dew on the blade
the inside of his
grass.
wardrobe.
Yes, for fuck's sake.
It's fucking ridiculous.
The Lord of the Rings could literally be 4 pages long.
It could be. I didn't mention that particular form of torture, Jessica G, because this is a family-rated show, and
what the fuck?
that sort of inhumane treatment will get us yanked from YouTube in a heartbeat. So
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Yes. So the I am a big fan of the Barrow-wights in Lord of the Rings, but not so much Tom Bombadil, who is just completely fucking unexplained. Who is this guy? Why not give him the fucking ring? Why doesn't he solve the problem? God damn it. Anyway.
I know, right?
Yep.
Lord of the Ring needs imagination. That's why you don't like it. Thank you, Keela.
Nice.
Well, I would argue actually it's the opposite in that people with imaginations reading Lord of the Rings get halfway through to the description of the fucking birthday party.
You know, Irish, they make this thing on your fucking thing called a mute button.
Yeah, no, I'm just Johnny O's talking shit here. So yeah, I'll be back in a sec. I have to go back on this stupid fucking show with these two wankers. I'll be out in a minute, babe.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, hey guys, I'm back.
Yeah,
step out there for a minute.
Very professional.
What?
My claim is that if someone with imagination were reading Lord of the Rings, they would get 30 pages into it and then imagine, what if I were reading a good book where something actually fucking happened?
I want to actually mention a book that I really liked when I was younger, and I reread it a few months back as an adult.
C-Spot Run?
Obviously,
C-Spot Run, right? I mean,
how the fuck did you know that?
It's like,
but no, I read there was a series called the Spiderwick Chronicles. I think they made a movie about it. I didn't see the movie, but it was an excellent story. It might be good for you, Tony, because it's it's kind of short, Not any big words. It's quite simple, but it was actually a really beautiful story. The character building in it from yeah, you just got to read it. It was really really good. But I reread it and it was just as enjoyable as an adult.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Anybody who is considering reading Lord of the Rings, go and read Beowulf. And that's all my advice. That was a dog of some kind.
Yeah, those
I
were my
don't own
dogs.
dogs.
They were greeting my daughter as she came back from her walk.
Oh, she went for the walk without the fucking dogs.
Exactly. Like, hey, there goes next time.
Basic trigonometry says, I can honestly say I never wanted to strangle a fictional character more than Frodo. Yeah. I didn't want to strangle Frodo. What I wanted was for this book to disappear from existence and be replaced with a good one.
Jesus.
God. I wonder if Tony likes or dislikes Lord of the Rings. I can't tell.
I couldn't really pick up, to be honest.
Tony, I wish you would stop being so veiled and just like come out with it.
I'm doing my best to remain objective and impartial here, gentlemen.
Oh man.
I am just presenting the facts. Like there's no opinion involved.
But it's just that the facts are so vague. That's what we're having.
Yeah, no, we can't like we don't have our Tony decoder rings. So I don't think that you're gonna have to be put it in plainer English.
Put it in plainer English. Okay. If you are considering reading Lord of the Rings, instead go to the bathroom, take a huge dump, put your hands underneath you, and then try reading that. And it will be a more pleasant experience because it will be shorter than wading through that turgid pile of crap.
So what you're saying is you like the book. I mean, I don't know what you're into.
So what you're saying is book burning is wrong, but you're willing to make an exception.
I'm willing to make an exception in this case, yes.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Oh, God. Chris Durham brings up the Silmarillion. Oh, my fucking... Don't go there. Do not go there. Because the Silmarillion is even worse. It is even worse. Oh, Owlman, I have read The Bourne Identity. Oh, my fucking God. What a stupid book.
Oh, we got to have a new series called that's your bread and butter, the Tony Reviews Books series.
Okay. So
I guarantee you, if you did a video reviewing Lord of the Rings, you would have a bazillion watch hours. A bazillion
watches. A bazillion. Okay. So the Bourne Identity is literally the stupidest fucking concept you could ever vomit onto a page without having it eat its way through to Earth's crust, just through its toxicity. But somehow they managed to take the central concept and turn it into a decent series of films. You look at the Bourne Identity, the Bourne Supremacy, and the Bourne Ultimatum. They're okay films. They're pretty good. I enjoy them. But the book is just so fucking stupid. Jesus Christ. If you took a flat earther and you beat their head against a concrete block for 5 hours and then shot them through their skull with a 44 Magnum, they would still not be stupid enough to write the Bourne Identity. That is how dumb that book is. It is just so fucking idiotic.
I swear to God, Tony, you've got to do book reviews. You've got to do book reviews. Wrote it no last name says confirmed. Tony hates books.
There are
So
books that I like.
I just got back from the toilet, and Tony was right.
But make sure to sanitize. And there you are. You see, if you sanitize afterwards, you at least have something to look forward to, as opposed to Lord of the Rings, where your best hope is that you will die, and then it will be over, right?
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
I just don't understand how somebody can love a book that much.
I felt so guilty. Like as a teenager, I thought, there are so many fantasy fans who are out there who love who love Lord of the Rings, and it's inspired, role playing games and all sorts of stuff, and I need to read it. And it took me like 3 times, and the third time it was when I was starting university. So I was 17 years old, and everybody who was in the role-playing scene had read this book and knew it backwards and forwards. And I've gone, okay, I need to read this fucking book. And oh, for fuck's sake, people, grow up. This is shit. When can nobody sit?
Hold on. Back up the truck a second. So you were telling other people in your role-playing group to grow up. Wow.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
Absolutely. And
okay, so here's what I want to see. Here's what I want to see. I really think you've got something here, because this is the funniest you've ever been. Ever.
I disagree. There was 1 or 2 outbursts before that were funny.
That's true. Okay, yeah. So this is almost as funny as you've ever been.
Right.
You've got to do the videos. You got to do the, this book sucks video and go off. It's just so funny.
Okay. Well, I could. The problem is that people are throwing the names of book series out there that I've never read, because I think that they're loads of crap from the get-go. So I'm worried about setting it out. I don't. Once I find that a particular author is just, basically handing toilet paper over to their editor and asking them to tidy up the spelling mistakes or whatever. I don't go back there. I don't go back to that particular author. But do you want to hear a funny story?
Oh, please.
A funny story. So I had a master's student who was Chinese. And he was kind of polite. He asked me a bunch of questions. Quite brilliant young chap, and he gave me a book before he left for my birthday. He went and got me a book, and let me go and get it for you.
Quick, everybody leave now.
While Tony is getting this book.
Fuck, it is.
Yes, I still had the headphones on.
Oh,
it is called. It is called The Art of Being Governed. And it describes how the population of China remain obedient to a central government. And I thought that's a really insensitive gift to give to somebody who doesn't want to be ruled by the Chinese government. But thank you very much. Yes, I've never read it, but perhaps that could be one of the ones on my list of books you should not read if you want to remain sane. But
Johnny, she said no. Just you'll know what that means.
Yeah.
You guys just gave The Prisoner an AR-15. Tony on War and Peace. It's too fucking long. Well, yes. If you can't tell your fucking story in 300 or 400 pages, fuck off. Well, no story needs to be that long. I'm sorry.
That's kind of rich coming from you.
Oh, well, screw you. It's just, and when have you read my stuff?
What? No, I'm talking about you just fucking talking basically and every Sunday.
Well, yeah, sure. I talk a lot. Well, it's to make up for the people who don't turn up.
Ooh, shots fired at JL Warren. Good thing I always turn up.
Who was
Fucking deafening silence.
that? I can hear somebody.
Is JL here?
It sounded a bit JL-ish, but
It
anyway.
did sound like JL.
Somebody was playing a
Yeah.
JL clip. All right. We need to
Oh,
wrap.
God. Do not get me started on Stephen fucking King. Okay, that is rich material. But I think
All right.
I think there ought to be a law. I want a law. I want a law passed that Bob Dylan cannot sing his own songs and Stephen King cannot write the end of his own stories. That's the law that I want passed. Stephen King is really good at writing the first half, 2/3 of a book, and then he
shitting at the end.
and then shitting at the end and just saying, okay,
Oh, my God.
here you go, guys.
Like what was the one? Oh fuck, with the walking guy. What was that? The walking dude. Oh, fuck my brain.
The Stand.
The Stand
Yeah.
was one of my favorite books of all time. I thought it was incredible, and then the end was just like, really?
It got
That's
yeah.
the end. I was like, and I read the unabridged version,
Oh,
and I
fuck.
listened to the audiobook, the unabridged audiobook, which was 50 something hours, because I was working nights, driving 12 hours a night. So I listened to the longest. I listened to all of the. Actually, if any of you out there like a good audiobook, check out the full Sherlock Holmes collection by Stephen Fry. It is fantastic. It's $15 for like 80 hours, or more, like 120 hours. It's just incredible. But yeah, The Stand, and at the end, I was like, really? That's the end?
Yeah.
I was like, you gotta be. And the Dome as well. The Dome was like, really? Like, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this sucks.
Well, that's the reason
book is
why he
amazing.
has. That's the reason why he has that that joke about him not being able to end a novel.
I mean, he's quite good up until he has to wrap things up,
Yeah.
and then you go, perhaps you shouldn't be allowed to wrap things up. Perhaps you should just write the first bit and then somebody else thinks about how to end it. Because one of the problems is that it can't be any worse because your ending has no fucking relationship to the rest of the book. It's like you wrote the first 2/3, then you did like a semi-trailer full of random psychoactive drugs.
I was going to say, you got to
waited
remember
5 years and came back to it.
You got to remember he was high a lot, so
Yeah.
especially high and drunk in those early years.
Well, maybe so, but and that has anybody gone through and actually randomly taken the ends of his books and tried to sort them out with the books that they belong on?
Yeah.
Somebody should try that.
He's had a couple of decent endings in some of his books, but nothing that has been like, oh fuck, oh, wow, that's a great way to like the Kennedy assassination one. Go, Jesus. Yep. Anyway.
11,
22, 63. That ended pretty. That the ending there was I liked the ending. It wasn't like, oh great, or it sucks. This makes no sense whatsoever. It actually does make sense in context of the story in the book. The Shining ended pretty well, but that's the only two I can think of.
I've never read The Shining. Apparently, he was very unimpressed with the film.
He hates Stanley Kubrick's version. Hates it.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things that, and then Stanley Kubrick knew that and poked a lot of fun at Stephen King in the film. There are a lot of instances in there where it's Stanley Kubrick making fun of Stephen King because he didn't like it.
Well, given that Stanley Kubrick was a bit of a prick, I'm not sure
Yeah, it's
whose
like,
side
fuck
I'm
you,
going
Stanley.
to come down.
Who wrote it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Fucking dick.
which one of the two psychologically tortured the lead actress and ended her career prematurely?
Yeah, that
It
was.
Let me. It wasn't. Hint. Spoiler alert. It wasn't Stephen King.
Yeah.
It
Let me
And
see if I
that's-
can work this out. But didn't he say that he did that to elicit a certain response so that he could get a certain effect on screen or something?
Well,
Yeah.
then,
Yes.
you're the
crazy.
director. You're the director of the fucking film. How about in the casting? If you don't want this actress to be in your film, talk to the casting department about it.
Right.
Rather than destroy somebody's mental health.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
absolute fucking asshat. And a lot of it's actually occurred on more than one film. Apparently, the remake of The Wrong Turn had one of those films had literal physical threats of rape against the lead actress from the guys playing the rapists.
That sounds like a great way to run your show.
And
Is that the one? Is The Wrong Turn the one?
Oh, yeah, that's
where
when
there's a
we're
load
gonna-
of guys that.
Yes.
Is that the one where there's a lot of guys that look like Daniel Pratt that live in the woods?
Yes. And
Cannibals.
something like that.
Yes.
I may be misremembering the film, but in one of the versions of that, the lead actress was severely traumatized by her experience on it. And you just go, you know what? Stephen King may not be able to write an ending, but at least he isn't out there fucking torturing people.
right.
With the threat of sexual abuse. You fucking dickheads.
And on this, another story that before we wrap, and we do have to wrap here because I really have an interesting meeting to go to. But the same film, the lead actress was also. They also said, well, there's a part where she's being held off of a cliff, and the director said, if you don't fucking get this right, I'm going to tell them to let you go. Like, this.
Yeah, that's.
It was fucked.
Keeler has changed her name to Tony Hates Literature. Yep, that's me.
Jesus Christ.
That's me.
All right, so hate to end. We're having a really fun time, but I really do have to get to my book reading club. So Tony, I know we've kind of hinted at it, but you've got this new series, Tony Hates Literature, coming out.
Yeah, I think I might do that.
I think it would really boost your channel. And I'm being honest, I'm being serious, because having such conflicting views about what people consider, modern literature classics, I think it would be really awesome.
Somebody has changed the name to Tony the Geography Teacher.
And on Tony's next episode is Tony Hates Literature. Why Harry Potter is worse than hemorrhoids.
See, to tell you that would work so well. You would be a
that
billion.
Would actually be really good.
You would have a billion subscribers with all of the.
Clive Wells says I'm a big fan of Ayn Rand. Oh my god. Yep. Okay. Anyway.
So
we totally need Tony Hates books. Okay.
Yep.
All right. There is
that
popular demand.
That would actually be such a good YouTube channel.
I think so.
Call it Why Books Suck, and then talk about why individual books are so shit.
Yeah. I think you've got a really good future in that. All right, Demon, besides vomiting gold coins, what else you got coming up?
Tomorrow I'm going to release a video that I filmed a few months ago. So I originally filmed it for Simon Dan's channel. I'm going to be filling in for a day for him in the coming weeks. But when I look back over it, it wasn't quite what I was hoping to get out of it. So I actually changed and did a different video for his channel. So I'm going to release that one on my channel instead, with a bit of commentary. And I have started making my videos over on The Lost Irishman, doing some stories about Irish myth and legend and folklore and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to be concentrating heavily on that. At the moment, I'm looking at I'm planning out how I'm going to start filming my documentaries for when I go back to Ireland. I've already reached out to just a couple of examples. One guy who is one of Ireland's only remaining traditional shillelagh makers. Another lady who is one of Ireland's only traditional clay smoking pipe makers, which is a huge cultural thing in Ireland. And the last person who made them in the village before she did, and it was one of the villages that made most of the clay pipes for the world at the time. That whole thing stopped because the Black and Tans burnt the village to the ground, and then the clay pipes stopped being made after that. So she's researched that. Another guy who is Ireland's one of Ireland's most famous storytellers, a guy called Eddie Lenihan. We've been chatting a lot, and we're going to be meeting up. He looks exactly like you would imagine an Irish. It's called a Shanachie, which are the people who tell the old Irish stories. So he's one of them. A few people who live in castles. Some really interesting characters. So now I'm trying to figure out which. And I was hoping Johnny might be able to help me out with some ideas for getting the sound really good, and I need to get a proper camera for it because I don't think the GoPro is going to cut it for that. But other than that, that's going to be one of my main focuses when I go back to Ireland. But I'm going to still keep doing all my debunking stuff, and just keep going from there, I guess. Oh, and my quiz series. I'm doing a quiz series, so we're going to have Johnny O versus Tony, I think.
No, we're not.
Who else? Oh, yes, we are.
No, see, Tony and I never agreed to this because we specifically said you don't put Titan versus Titan.
But I think it would be a masterful show, and I will make it so fucking hard. So it's going to be not ridiculous questions like who was the number 4 on the 1962 Australian rugby team, like no stupid shit like that. Like, but I'm going
but Tony would be like, "Oh, that's that would be," and then rattle it off. And, if you say some rugby shit.
Well, I just feel like Johnny O is afraid. That's all I'm saying.
Look. Here's the thing.
I think you need to leave Johnny O versus PSG Tony for later in the series. You just need to,
That's going to be one of the grand final.
It's got to be. Look, whenever you're making a bracket, you never put number 1 versus number 2 in the beginning of the bracket. That never happens. Okay, and I freely admit that I'm number 2 in this scenario. Okay, freely admit that, but you never do that. That would make Tony number 1, jackass. But you never put 1 versus 2. You don't do it.
I didn't. There's way better people than both of you out there, so don't worry about it.
Okay, well.
Way better people than both of you out there.
Hey, J.L. Warren did really well.
Yes.
Really well.
He did. I was actually really impressed with Charlie.
Charlie was excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, we had Karan Williams.
I need to go away from the microphone for a little bit. I will be back.
He's going for a shit.
Yeah.
We had Karan Williams versus who? Let me have a look. Oh, I don't have it on this computer. I can't remember who it was. Oh, Karan Williams versus Inquisitor Bacon.
I was going to say Bacon, yeah.
And Inquisitor Bacon won on points, but they actually drew on aggregate. They both got 21 points overall. So if we were counting it that way, they would have drawn. And they were both brilliant. We had Facty versus and the George said that was another really good one. I've been having a blast doing this. It's been a lot of fun. So
Copper Wasp says I was all ready to go and it didn't happen.
What?
I don't know. I think the show.
Didn't your person not show up, Copper Wasp? What about Copper Wasp versus Crafty Keeler? That'd be a good one. You guys let me know. Message me on Discord if you guys want to do that. But Copper Wasp, I do have you on a slot anyway, so you haven't been bumped out. Don't worry. But anyway, I got to get out of here because I got to go to sleep.
I got to get out of here because I've got a meeting to get to. Oh, man. All right. What happened to PhD Tony? You see, there he is.
It would be really funny if he came back in the stream.
I am back.
You're back.
Fuck.
It was more of a Riley than an Oakley.
Hold on. I feel like there's a very definite, like, you know, it's either one or the other, not more of one. Like, if you're having a little bit of Oakley come out in your Riley, then you've got a problem.
Yes, that's
You know?
true. It was entirely Riley. There was no Oakley involved.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Well, that's good.
All right, let's say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
You're like my children. I swear to God.
Yep. That's kind of why we appoint you the responsible adult. Okay. Thank you, Johnny O. No, don't. Seriously, we really appreciate. I really appreciate. I can't talk to the Irish ingrate on the western coast, but I really appreciate the effort, and the support that you. Sorry, Tim. That was completely gratuitous. That would only be. Yeah. So, but no, we're really grateful. And thank you. We're on pop mic apparently, but anyway.